So, you're wanting to get into Tarkov. You saw a streamer or a YouTube video or your friend recommended it to you and you thought the game was interesting enough to buy, and now you need some tips for starting. Well, look no further. This video is for you. I'm a relatively new player myself, only started playing the game around a year or so ago, and when I started I had no idea what was going on, and it got so bad I had to reset my account because I was level 4 with no gear and like 70 rubles to my name. I think it would be a good idea to hear some tips from me rather than a streamer who plays 12 hours a day or even a seasonal vet, because they can get a bit detached and forget how hard the game really is when you're just starting out, which is why I wanted to make this video while I still had it fresh in my head. So, without any further ado, let's get what you came here for. In Tarkov, there are certain maps that new, casual players just don't belong in. So, when you click on your PMC, these are the maps I would recommend avoiding because more than likely you will 100% run into a fully geared up player with the best ammo in the game. You should avoid Woods, Reserve, Interchange, and Shoreline. You will want to stick to Customs and Factory. The reason to me these two maps are the best to play on and learn as a starting player is because they are 1. The easiest to learn the layout of the map, and 2. The maps where most of the low level quests are. So instead of encountering someone way above you in gear, you have a better chance of someone your level getting into a fight with you. The amount of times I've been on Woods and I see a guy with a World War II helmet and a PM walking around blindly without any idea where to go, just gotta shake my head before gunning him down. Tragedy, really. Now, I know I said to stick to Customs and Factory, but I would primarily play on Customs because the map has a bunch of systems on it that other, more difficult maps have as well, such as Scav Boss, multi-step extracts, and turns. I'll go over those more in the next video. Now there is an app that will help you out with getting your feet planted in the right direction and head pointed the right way. Tarkov Maps on Android, and probably similar one for iOS. With this app you can see loot drop locations, locked doors, Scav Boss spawns, and most importantly, extract locations, which leads me to the next tip. It's easy to get immersed in Tarkov and spend a lot of time in one raid. However, while these raids are fun, they are not infinite in time. Depending on the map, you will have a set time to get in and out. The most important two, the maps I say you should stick to and learn the fundamentals of the game, are Factory with a time limit of 20 minutes and Customs with a time limit of 40 minutes. As a PMC, you spawn at the start of the raid, give or take a few minutes because the game's kind of trash sometimes. Once the raid timer hits 0 without you extracting or dying, you will be considered MIA, which is basically just dying, and you will lose everything on you as if you died. Now, not only do you have the in-game raid timer, you have the overall map time. This runs in military time, so be sure you have a decent understanding of how to read that or a converter pulled up in a separate tab. The reason this is important is because you do not want to queue in a raid at night as a low-level player, because night vision goggles and scopes exist and you will just get gunned down without ever seeing anyone. The way you make sure not to get into a night raid after you click the map, there will be an option with a 12-hour time difference between the two. The one you will want to choose is between 6 and 18. That will be when the sun is up. Additionally, you can tell what the weather is like by the icon next to the times. Now I know, one of the most anxiety-inducing, rage-fueling, keyboard-smashing factors of Tarkov is losing your gear. You just killed an enemy with a cool gun you've never seen before, and you're scared to take it back in the raid because a paraplegic has a better survival rating than you. Well, fear no more, because as you choose a map to go on, you will have the option to turn it into an offline raid. This will make it so it's basically a private lobby where there are no consequences. You can jump off 3rd-story dorms, knife rush a scav, or just walk around taking in the scenery. When you die, nothing is lost. You keep everything on you, and you can do it again, and again, and again. But, at the same time, you can't take anything out of the raid. Found a cool weapon, killed a scav boss, found intelligence, completed a quest. Too bad, so sad, go do it for real. I know what you're thinking, but Oracle, I want to be able to progress without being worried I'll lose my stuff, because my beautiful AK-103 with the World War II helmet and pack of armor is just too precious to me. Well, for that answer, I have a little something called insurance. Let's say you go in and get killed by an AI scav who was totally glitched because you totally hit all your shots. Well, as long as no one loots your body and it is still in the raid by the time the raid timer hits 0, you will be able to reacquire all your gear. The way you do this is after selecting the map and going past the offline section, you will see your gear again. Select the pieces you really care about and hit the insure button. This will give you back everything that doesn't get looted, but you will not get any consumables back. This includes ammo, meds, food, and water. Okay, one more piece of info is, after you've waited the time, you will have a set time limit to receive your belongings. If you don't grab them before the time is up, you will lose them forever, just like if someone took them. I believe the time is around 12 real-life hours. These babies are your bread and butter at low ranks. Scavs are randomly made characters for you with a random gear, and you get to keep everything you extract with. However, you can't insure anything, and you can't progress skills or quests on your main PMC. However, Scavs have their own stats that you can progress like a separate PMC. As a Scav, you spawn in at a random time in the raid, and depending on the map, you will have random Scav only extracts. This is where that app I mentioned earlier will come in handy. Speaking of apps, Tarkov has many bullet types and subtypes, so it can get a bit confusing on which ones you should be using, which is why I use this app called Tarkov Wiki on my phone. It shows you each ammo, gun, piece of armor, keys, basically everything in the game. Ammo is important because it doesn't matter how good your gun is or what attachments you use if your ammo is bad. You're not going to be killing any decently geared players as easily as you could be. Now, I'm not saying to go and buy the most expensive of expensive ammo, but make sure the ammo you are getting is going to do more than lightly tickle someone in tier 4 armor. More armor in the next video. Each bullet type can get broken down to what I believe are the most important traits for you to pay attention to as you're starting out. You have flesh damage, armor damage, penetration, and penetration ability. If you look at the 545x39 bullets, you have the 739 bullet, also known as the Eagle Neck. It has a flesh damage of 37, armor damage of 60%, and 22.20 damage hit, with a pen of 62 and a pen ability of max all the way through tier 6. Meanwhile, if you look at the BP bullet in the same ammo type, you will see it has a flesh damage of 48, armor damage at 41% and only 19.68 damage, pen of 32, max pen ability up until tier 3, where after you see gradual fall off. So, as you can see, on paper against an unarmored enemy, the BP round is the way to go. Eagle Neck will shred any armored player. It's good to keep these things in mind while you're picking which ammo to take into raid. Thanks for making this far in the video. If you enjoyed the content, or if this helped you out at all, how about you hit the like button, sub maybe, or even share it with a new player you think could use some help. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Still I wasn't ready for this, to be the hero they deserve. When I clenched the fist, I couldn't resist, never would I consider the risk. But if I did, I always promise I'll be there to assist. You might be just like me, that's all that I see. We'll serve our purpose.